Millions of Americans with federal student loan debt are set to get some relief, but the president's executive order is garnering mixed reactions. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with details coming up.
Also, we hear from some local Ukrainians as their country celebrates an important holiday.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. The long-awaited announcement on student loan debt finally came. The Biden administration is giving some relief after months of anticipation. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
The president returned to Washington today with big news for borrowers ahead of the midterms. While some are breathing a sigh of relief, others are sounding the alarm.
Here's what my administration is going to do to provide more breathing room for people so they have less burdened by student debt.
It's the answer that millions of borrowers have been waiting for. President Biden is announcing he's canceling up to $10,000 of federal student loan debt for those making less than $125,000 a year. Borrowers who received Pell Grants would be eligible for up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. And the president is extending the temporary pause on loan repayment one more time through December.
Both of these targeted actions are for families who need it the most.
With midterm elections quickly approaching, some see the move as a way for Democrats to rally young voters who may not be as enthused with how the president has performed.
I think young people are the strongest, Democrat supporters. And you see this move by Biden is timed with the election.
The president is trying to use taxpayers as a personal campaign slush fund.
Still, President Biden is likely to get pushback from those who think the amount is not enough. Progressive lawmakers and the president of the NAACP have been calling on him to forgive at least $50,000 per borrower.
Will I keep fighting for more? Of course I will.
Plus, fiscal hawks say this will add fire to an already red-hot inflation problem and do nothing to reduce the national deficit.
Some estimates are as much as $300 billion more in debt incurred because of this. What are they thinking?
The Biden administration says restarting loan payments and targeted debt relief will offset each other, potentially blunting any inflationary impact. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
And we asked students at Pitt State what they thought about the announcement on student loan debt relief.
It's a huge relief just because I think that as someone who is young and paying their own bills and everything, that just knowing that you don't have to have that amount allotted in your budget for student loans would be amazing.
It'd be nice. I mean, it'd be nice for people to get that. However, just like the backlash on it would be like taxes, higher inflation with it.
Doug Heddy joining us now. Firstly, the forecast. Again, we've been through worse, but this is still hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It's August out there, but overall, it turned out to be a pretty nice day. Temperatures have been slowly kind of creeping up this week. 91 for a high, a couple notches above our average high of 89, but it's not 102, the record high, which you could see set back in 1947. Clear skies, nothing going on here. We have pretty much clear skies across the entire central plain, some showers down to our south, but we look good. Upper 70s to lower 80s still out in our western counties, and I think we'll drop back right around 66 a little bit later on tonight. Still gets a little bit hotter over the next few days. We'll check that out here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. 1 million cups hit the road to Carthage. Every Wednesday, the group meets for coffee while 2 entrepreneurs speak to local chamber members about their business. Now, the purpose of these meetings is to help empower small business owners. 1 Million Cups is a nonprofit organization with more than 160 chapters across the country.
So the point is that if you're in business, it is designed to be a place that you can come, meet with other entrepreneurs and other experts in their field, talk, share, and have a place to get answers or help.
1 Million Cups takes a road trip every 3 months to get out in the community for local small business owners who just can't make it to these weekly meets. Southeast High School in Cherokee, Kansas is helping students with their wardrobe. Important thing, right? Threads for Success was started by the FCCLA teacher and students to help those who can't find the right outfit for the interviews. Vra Till won the Outstanding Teacher Award and $500 through a local radio station. She's taking her winnings and using it to buy more men's clothing and extended sizes. Well, the clothes are free, and any student who wears them can keep them. If you want to help donate to Threads for Success, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. More military aid is on its way to Ukraine 6 months after Russia's invasion began. Today, the country marked its Independence Day. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more. We're going to have that package here in a little bit. While the war continues in Ukraine, some Ukrainians living Southwest Missouri are pausing today to think about their home country. Remember, Independence Day celebrations are going on. Today's KOAM Segun Bamdeli spoke to two Ukrainians here in Southwest Missouri, the day that the country celebrates its independence.
It's been 6 months since the war started in Ukraine, and today makes it 31 years of independence for Ukraine from the Soviet Union. I spoke to two Ukrainian citizens today, and they tell me what independence and freedom means to them.
We are celebrating this day, 24th of August, and we celebrated with flowers and champagne until this year.
Alexandra Olofish says his mom is still in Ukraine.
I do have my mom. She is still in Ukraine, but it's very difficult for her, and it's very difficult for her to make a decision to leave a country where she was born and where she lived all her life, and just move to the other place. So yes, my mom is still in Ukraine.
New York Times reports that there are 5,587 confirmed civilian deaths in Ukraine.
I lost one of my friends during this war, and this is terrible. That's really sad to hear that news when you wake up in the morning and you can hear that one of your friends died.
A local seamstress tells me that the war makes today a hard day to celebrate. She says it is obvious that Ukrainian wants to remain in their country.
Honestly, everybody thinks that maximum 1 week and Ukraine will surrender and it will be Russia there. But surprisingly, our people, Ukrainian people, was strong and protective, and world around can see how much we want our freedom, our independence.
Lilia says misinformation has affected the war.
Information, propaganda, what Russian government through TV, radio station, I don't know, give to them citizen, completely cricket. They take some fact, kindly turn it upside down and give to people, and people, of course, believe them government.
Lilia says she believes Ukraine will come out victorious from the war. In Joplin, Segun Bamdeli, KOAM News.
Lilia and her husband are doing what they can to help other Ukrainians, specifically donating to help Ukrainian exchange students here in the U.S. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Vincent Tirafisi served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 46. Native of Arma, Kansas, Tirafisi was stationed in India, winning several awards. We are proud to thank and salute Technical Sergeant First Class Vincent Tirafisi. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later the Carthage Tigers just 2 days away from their season opener. Going to hear from the team on their matchup with Republic in sports.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Temperatures were really pretty good, right around 90, 91 degrees for most of us, but the humidity has been low, so it doesn't feel extremely sticky or muggy out there. It's just hot, just the way it's supposed to be in the month of August. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Let's go ahead, zoom in. You can see our high temperatures, most of us right around 90 on the Missouri and Arkansas side, and then into low, even mid-90s once you get out across our western counties and southeastern parts of Kansas. Of course, we've dropped off. The sun is down 76 in Nevada, 75 in Neosho. Miami 74, 78 in Pitt. We're still 82 in Neodesha. But here's the good news. Dew points are sitting right around 60. This measures our moisture. You know, when the dew points get really up there, 70 to 75 in the summer, it feels real muggy and soupy outside, but we're kind of in that not bad region. That's where we're going to sit over the next day or two, and then it will start to creep up just a bit. 78 relative humidity at 54%. There's nothing going on outside. We have pretty much clear skies. That's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Still dealing with a little bit of tropical moisture to our south and to our east. This is due to the remnants of the big tropical system that rolled through parts of Texas over the weekend. But besides that, look at our jet streams way up to the north. As long as it stays up there, we can't get any big organized storm systems into the region. We're not going to see any anytime soon. All right, mid 60s to start. Let's go through the morning. We'll stop at noon. Upper 80s. As we get into the afternoon, a little bit hotter than what we saw today, still bearable. 66 in the morning, 88 by noon. High temp right around 94. We're going to have a light southeasterly wind. We'll drop back upper 60s to near 70 again tomorrow night. Let's go into Friday, much of the same. Partly sunny, high temps into the mid 90s. You can see a few isolated thunderstorms to our north trying to get going, but we should see at least some chances for scattered thunderstorms getting in here as we head into the weekend. These are going to be very hit and miss, so if you have any outdoor activities, don't cancel them. Just hit and miss thunderstorms Saturday, then again Sunday. This trend kind of sticks around early next week. Monday into Tuesday, some scattered thunderstorms. But none of the days look like this is a clear, easy shot for rain, even though we could use a little bit more rain. Just hit and miss storms. Weather's actually pretty boring, which drives me insane. 94 tomorrow, 95 on Friday, 92 on Saturday, back to 95 on Sunday. Those hit and miss storms sticking around. I would say our best shot is the middle of next week, next Tuesday into Wednesday, but pretty much status quo over the next few days. At least no triple digits on that map. So that's the good news.
Springtime makes up for those boring moments right now.
Yeah, you know, our real busy season is like October to June.
Okay.
But second half of June to the beginning of October for me is horrendous. I hate it.
Yeah. Doug, we'll see in a little bit. Thanks so much. Coming up, still waiting for the Department of Justice to respond to a judge.
President Biden says he didn't know about the raid at his predecessor's home in advance, and a judge in Florida should be hearing back from the Justice Department soon on what they want redacted from the affidavit. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have the latest on the investigation at Mar-a-Lago.
First Lady Dr. Jill Biden testing positive for COVID-19 again. In an apparent rebound case of the virus, the First Lady initially tested positive on August 15th while she was vacationing in South Carolina. She isolated until receiving 2 negative tests and was cleared to meet the president in Delaware on Sunday. Her deputy communications director issued a statement saying she, quote, experienced no reemergence of symptoms. She's going to remain in Delaware, where she will isolate again. The White House medical unit has conducted contact tracing. President Biden is considered a close contact. He's going to wear a mask for 10 days while indoors and in close proximity to others, in accordance with guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The countdown is on for the Department of Justice to explain to a judge why the affidavit connected to the FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago should remain sealed. The National Archives also revealing what other documents have been taken earlier this year. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has a closer look from D.C.
I didn't have any advance notice. None. Zero. Not one single bit.
President Biden broke his silence Wednesday on the FBI raid at former President Trump's home and says he didn't know it was coming. Meanwhile, in Florida, a legal showdown is looming between the Department of Justice and Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart. The judge wants to know why the affidavit that prompted the search at Mar-a-Lago should remain sealed. Redaction suggestions are due Thursday from DOJ lawyers who argue making it public would damage their ongoing investigation. Former President Trump has called for it to be released.
No reasonable person really believes that this raid on President Trump's compound was the equal application of the laws.
This week, we learned a team of DOJ attorneys not related to the probe have been reviewing the documents taken from the former president's home, looking for anything protected under attorney-client privilege. The National Archives also revealed in January they recovered more than 700 pages from Mar-a-Lago containing classified documents.
This is a form of grand theft. These documents don't belong to him. The Presidential Records Act requires all documents, whether they're classified or unclassified, that they are the property of the government.
Former President Trump's legal team recently filed a motion asking for the appointment of a special master, arguing the government has long treated the former president unfairly.
Donald Trump is a Republican. He's leading in the polls, and that is a problem for Joe Biden.
The former president's legal team has until Friday to better explain to the judge why a special master is needed to review the evidence. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Still ahead, rising border concerns.
A deadly week out here along the U.S. southern border. I'm Casey Stiegel in Eagle Pass, Texas. We've got the latest from the ground coming up.
Whole Foods Market slapped with a lawsuit over its "No Antibiotics Ever" marketing slogan for its beef. 3 consumers and an animal welfare group sued the supermarket chain in California, alleging recent independent laboratory testing found that Whole Foods beef contained antibiotic and other pharmaceutical residue. Now, Whole Foods and parent company Amazon have not immediately responded to requests for comment. Concerns are rising as deaths at the border increased this month, along with fentanyl seizures. Fox News senior correspondent Casey Stiegel reporting now from Eagle Pass, Texas.
It has been a deadly week at the southern border. In the Del Rio, Texas sector, at least 7 migrants drowned in the Rio Grande River over the last 7 days, attempting to illegally cross into the country. 2 of them children, one 5 years old, another just 2 months.
You think about these children that are not only in grave danger as part of the crossing of the border, but the exploitation that they face, sexual and otherwise, it's heartbreaking.
Border Patrol agents say in the Del Rio sector, there's been an average of 1 death a day since the beginning of the month, with more than 200 deaths so far this fiscal year.
There is nothing compassionate about the open border policies that the Biden administration continues to allow.
As agents continue to deal with large groups of migrants crossing the border, they're also encountering deadly amounts of fentanyl. Agents in Arizona seized millions of fentanyl pills at a port of entry over the last week alone, with some dyed in bright colors resembling children's candy. Fentanyl seizures at the border are increasing overall. This year, more than 10,000 pounds has been seized so far.
President Biden's message that the border is open is being exploited by the criminal cartels.
All this as 5 more migrant buses arrived in New York City early Wednesday morning from Texas. More than 6,000 migrants have been bused from the Lone Star State to the Big Apple since May. In Eagle Pass, Texas, Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
All right, so listen up. If you think you are an expert on what pumpkin spice should taste like, bring it. Next, how you can earn money being a taste tester for all things pumpkin spice. So I know some of you are all about pumpkin spice. I was thinking of you, okay? Your love of all things pumpkin could lead to some cash. Personal finance advice website Finance Buzz is looking for what it's calling a pumpkin spice pundit. The site says this is someone who will taste and rate seasonal fall foods at Trader Joe's. Now, I know there's not a Trader Joe's in the area, but if it involves money, go to one, right? Finance Buzz is going to pay the winner $1,000 for their services, give them a $500 Trader Joe's gift card. Some of the taste testers' tasks will include chowing down on pumpkin stuffed ravioli. No, thank you. Pumpkin waffles. Pumpkin samosas. I don't know. Finance Buzz says the market research is going to be used to help shoppers pick which foods to eat. Applications must be in by August 28th. A candidate is going to be chosen by September 2nd. I don't like a lot of pumpkin spice stuff except pumpkin spice bread. But I'll take the money, and gift cards. I'll be like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Give me the money. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to hear from the new director of Pitt State's Paraguay program and how her experience in the country will guide others. Plus, why Neosho could get more bike trails. Pittsburgh State University's PSU and Paraguay program recently named a new director who has a lot of traveling experience herself. KOAM's Yana Atala explains.
Angela Moots has been there herself, traveling to France to study abroad before going back because of the new exciting culture.
Traveling is just an amazing experience. Studying abroad, it really opens your eyes to other cultures. It helps you step outside your comfort zone.
She encourages students to try studying abroad because it may help them later on in their lives.
No matter what you're going to be doing in the future, you're always going to be interacting with people who have other beliefs and opinions. So it's a really great skill to have.
Moots is excited to lead the Paraguay program on campus. Currently, there are 8 students from Paraguay at PSU, while 13 are in Paraguay. preparing for their own trip to Southeast Kansas.
It's really great for students in Paraguay to be able to be in their home country and to study abroad and to learn about the American classroom and to learn, but then also to come to Pittsburgh and to continue their studies.
The program is great for students in Paraguay, as they can stay with their family while getting used to the U.S. university system. Juan Ignacio Molo moved to the States 2 semesters ago. Now, he's connected with many students, experiencing university in the U.S.
To join a fraternity so I can be with Americans all the time. Then there are many activities here at PSU. I'm in the soccer team, rugby team, and yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it.
Molo agrees with Moods. The experience is beneficial.
Maybe tomorrow I'm working in, I don't know, in Asia, and since I have the opportunity to go out and like experience a different culture, I will know how to talk to the people. I mean, how to communicate with different people around the world.
In Pittsburgh, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
PSU faculty members travel to Paraguay to teach future PSU students general education classes needed before coming to Pittsburgh. City of Joplin held a public meeting to discuss a property tax levy in the city. The council approved an ordinance that includes a tax levy on the Joplin Public Library.
Property tax has been authorized by the voters already. This is not a new tax. So cities, school districts, they have to reset their property tax levy every year using this calculation by the state auditor's office.
Joplin says the city property tax represents a very small portion of the overall property tax liability for the citizens of Joplin. Well, more bike trails could be heading to Neosho, Missouri. The Flower Box City right now has about 8.5 miles of bike trails, but that was put in 3 years ago. Now there are plans to add 2 miles. City's Parks and Rec supervisor says the bike trails attract people from as far away as Northwest Arkansas, also Springfield.
There is a little bit for everybody with our bike trails, and that was the goal, is to fix it where people could come in and just ride, walk. You can even walk part of the bike trails. As long as you're not on the downhill trails, you're good.
Additions to the current bike trail, of course, depend on Neosho City Council's approval. Well, some students are celebrating student loan forgiveness, as was announced today. Others are celebrating the start of the new school year. Crowder College hosted its annual cookout on the quad today. And not only is there some good grub, but the event also helps students connect with local businesses. More military aid is on its way to Ukraine 6 months after Russia's invasion began. Today, the country marked its Independence Day. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more.
Ukraine marked its Independence Day Wednesday without any large celebrations or parades. Streets remained largely deserted in parts of the country while officials warned of possible Russian missile attacks.
The risk is huge, and that's why the safety is a priority for us, safety of our citizens.
In Kyiv, air raid sirens rang throughout the capital city as charred Russian tanks and military equipment sat on display in the central square. Wednesday's holiday comes 6 months after Russian forces first invaded Ukraine. Support continues to pour in from around the world. During a surprise visit to Kyiv, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced another $63 million in military aid. The U.S. also increasing its security assistance, sending roughly $3 billion more into Ukraine.
We will see a Ukraine that is sovereign, that is independent, that is prosperous going forward, but importantly, a Ukraine that also has the means to defend itself against aggression.
During a meeting with the UN Security Council, President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russian forces launched missiles at a railroad station in central Ukraine on Wednesday. He called on the UN to hold Russia accountable, saying Moscow's ambitions could be even bigger than Ukraine.
We must all get united and act as soon as possible so there are no more traces of Russian missiles and no more cities burned by Russian artillery.
Kyiv remains on high alert for possible attacks, canceling most large events through the end of the week. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
A bit later, a domino effect.
Vacation rentals can be your home away from home, but they can also be contributing to the nation's affordable housing crisis. I'm Marianne Rafferty. Details straight ahead.
Well, definitely turned out to be a nice one for us today. We've had a nice little stretch of pretty good weather dating back to Sunday. Of course, we had some hit and miss thunderstorms Saturday evening. Some of those were kind of strong, had a couple low-grade severe storms. But again, they were very hit and miss. We need the rain to be a little bit more hit rather than miss. But at least we're getting some chances out there. Not anytime soon. It's going to stay fairly dry. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Let's go ahead, zoom in. Look at our highs earlier today. Most of us right around 90 southwestern Missouri and Arkansas. And then we got into lower 90s once you pushed into our western counties. But it's comfortable. At least the humidity is good. 73 in Cassville. 79 in Welch. Still holding on into lower 80s. Portions of southeastern Kansas, but here's our humidity. These are our dew points measured in degree fashion at the surface. When they're hanging out right around 60 in the summer, that's pretty good. That makes it feel outside not too bad. Once you get up that scale, that's when it starts feeling muggy and soupy across the region, but we don't have to deal with that tonight. Outside, sitting at 78, dew point 60, humidity is at 54%. There's nothing going on. It's pretty much clear skies. In fact, the entire Central Plains, clear skies. We still have the remnants of our tropical system down across southeastern parts of the U.S. Quite a bit of rain, actually Mississippi, parts of Alabama throughout the daytime hours for us today. But our jet stream way up into southern Canada, until this moves farther south, we're not going to get any storm systems into the region. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. All right, mid-60s tonight. Let's go through the morning hours. We warm, upper 80s by noon, high temps into the low to mid-90s, maybe a degree or two hotter than what we saw today. Today it was 91. I think tomorrow kind of 93, 94 degrees. Southerly winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, if you have any evening plans, it looks good. And then eventually we drop back mid-60s once again. As we go into Friday, a few more clouds, maybe a notch or two warmer on Friday, 94, 95 degrees. You can see a few isolated thunderstorms trying to pop up. I'm going to keep Friday dry, but I do think we'll start to see at least some chances for additional hit and miss storms trying to get in here as we go into the weekend. So here's Saturday, still some chances sticking around on Sunday. Again, very hit and miss, just isolated afternoon thunderstorms. Here's Monday, much of the same, and then sticks around into Tuesday as well. And it looks like our temps kind of hold fairly steady, mainly into lower 90s. 94 tomorrow, 95 on Friday. Over the weekend, if you have outdoor activities, don't worry about. These are just hit and miss storms sticking around into early next week and really the middle of next week.
It'll be so nice someday when we go back in the car and it doesn't feel like you're going into an oven, you know?
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to take a while.
Someday.
Yeah.
You just left it there. Someday. All right, Doug Heddy, thanks so much,
Yep.
man. All right, coming up in sports, going to hear from the Carthage Tigers as they prepare for Friday's football season opener. Plus, Joplin softball heading in the fall with some momentum and a new head coach. Jacob Leonard has that story and more next.
But this week is the first week of the regular season for Missouri high school football. The Carthage Tigers kick off their schedule on Friday night, hosting Republic. The Carthage is riding a 21-game regular season winning streak into Friday's game. Last year, they were a perfect 9-0 in the regular season, including winning this matchup with Republic 35-14. Now, the Tigers have a lot of talented guys back from that team, but one area to watch Friday night will be on the offensive line. Carthage has a few new guys up front, looking to lead what is always a strong group for Carthage football.
We have 3 new faces up there. We got 2 quality returners with Drew Mushy and Malachi Hausch, but 3 new faces that we have no idea what to expect from those guys. Tyler Willis is back at tight end as well. We consider him a lineman too, but that's the biggest group right there that's going to make or break us.
The first Monday practice, we were very timid. Didn't really want to try, I'd say. Didn't want to get physical. Right now, we're probably almost as physical as we need to be on Friday night, and we will be that Friday night.
They need to be physical, they need to communicate, they need to get off the football, they need to have great pad level, and they need to finish blocks.
Kansas City Chiefs legend and NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Lynn Dawson passed away today at the age of 87. And Dawson led the Chiefs to their first ever Super Bowl title back in 1969, earning Super Bowl MVP honors and the nickname Lenny the Cool. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame as a player in 1987 and as a broadcaster in 2012. The Joplin Eagles kick off their softball schedule this week. The Eagles head into the season with a new head coach and a little momentum. Danny Terzer caught up with the team today as they close in on game number 1.
Good. Now read this one, Peyton. Good.
The Joplin Eagles are 2 days out from their season opener, and after Tuesday's Jamboree, the Eagles are excited to show what they're made of.
We had our Jamboree last night, and it was really, really nice to hear them talking to each other about what bunt coverage are we in, where are we going with the ball. I was really impressed by that. It's the left side of our infield. It's almost like telepathic the way they communicate.
That left side includes junior Bailey Ledford.
Bailey Ledford does a great job at third base. She's going to lead by example. She's going to be there. She's going to make the play. She plays really, really hard. So we're really happy with the play that she's given us.
And senior Izzy Eust at shortstop.
We're going to lean on our defense, keeping scores low and hopefully scoring more than the other team. And here, what does that ball do in the outfield when it comes down? It's going to have a bounce, okay? And we know how to play that bounce, but they might not know. And we're going to lean on our base running. We've got a lot of speed this year, and we hope to make that a weapon for us. You're rounding that thing hard coming out of that box, making sure you're looking for 2.
As for pitching, it's a mix of experience and youth.
This year we've got really an anchor on the staff with Jill McDaniel, being a senior, 4th year in the circle. She does a great job. We've got 2 freshmen that'll probably see significant varsity time in Ava Wolf and Kaylin Bobsky. They both threw last night in the Jamboree and did a really nice job for us.
They won't be the only underclassmen stepping up. The Eagles are rounded out by a sophomore class with experience and drive.
Last year, my class, there were some girls who, they had the potential. It was just they had to build up for it and adjust to high school. And this year, I've seen a lot of them grow just over the summer, and just our team, I think, is going to be pretty solid.
In Joplin, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Joplin kicks off the season with a pair of games on Friday, facing both Aurora and Carl Junction. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Peloton and Amazon have a new relationship. You can now buy Peloton's exercise equipment, strength training called The Guide, accessories and apparel from Amazon. All Peloton products were previously only available right from the company, as many of us know. Peloton says customers can search now for its products in Amazon stores to see if they are available in their area. The Peloton bike is going to be available with in-home delivery, and customers have the option to assemble the bikes themselves or select an add-on expert assembly option through Amazon. The bike is priced at $1,445, while the Guide costs $295. Walking 10 minutes a day is associated with greater longevity in people aged 85 and older. That's according to a South Korean study. Researchers tracked about 7,000 people ages 80 to 90 years old and found those who walked daily or did more vigorous exercise lowered their risk of death by about 40%. Study finds people who are sleep deprived are less likely to help others. California researchers say insufficient shut-eye is associated with reduced activity in part of the brain that regulates pro-social behavior like sharing. It's mine, all mine. Vacation rentals. Maybe you're home away from home, but across the country, communities in and around tourist destinations say those short-term rentals are contributing to the affordable housing crisis. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has a look at why these properties are forcing many full-time residents into small mobile units.
It's a scenario you're probably familiar with. You're going on vacation but don't want to stay in a hotel, so you book a short-term rental. But now those are at the center of growing controversy, with short-term rentals being blamed for worsening the nation's ongoing affordable housing crisis.
1 in every 3 housing units is a short-term rental.
The problem is especially on full display in vacation destinations like the Colorado ski town of Steamboat Springs, where local officials say people from out of state are buying many of the available homes and renting them out on the off-season. taking away potential homes from full-time residents and sending real estate prices through the roof.
As a 44-year-old that works a full-time job, I'm not able to even afford to live.
But a study by vacation rental company Airbnb found short-term rentals are critical to supporting more than 13,000 jobs across several Rocky Mountain counties, and attributes the lack of affordable housing to job growth outpacing home construction.
They're an important part of our resort tourism-based economy. We just cannot sustain the rate at which properties are turning into short-term rentals and still have a community.
But relief may be on the way. Members of the Steamboat Springs City Council recently banned new short-term rentals in most parts of the city. They're also proposing a 9% bookings tax on existing rentals to help fund more affordable housing options. And the idea could inspire other vacation towns to do the same. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
It's almost Friday. Going to check out some movies playing this weekend at the theaters and on demand. A fantasy drama and based on a true story thriller on the big screen. Sylvester Stallone leads the action, and Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg bring the comedy to streaming. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a look at this week's new releases.
What is your heart's desire?
New in theaters is George Miller's time-spanning fantasy drama 3,000 Years of Longing, led by Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba, about an academic who meets a djinn or genie who offers her 3 wishes.
The guy in the gray hoodie is robbing the bank.
Also in theaters, John Boyega, Nicole Bahari, and the late Michael K. Williams star in Breaking, based on the true story of a Marine veteran denied support from Veterans Affairs who holds up a bank.
Everyone is dying to meet you.
The horror thriller The Invitation is on the big screen with Natalie Emmanuel playing a woman invited by her long-lost cousin to a wedding in the English countryside, which quickly spirals into a nightmarish affair.
Since the storm, it seems like everybody just moved on.
The HBO documentary Katrina Babies on HBO and HBO Max looks at trauma and after effects of children who lived through the devastating hurricane.
Brittany's life has been this kind of roller coaster.
Tubi launches the 12-episode docuseries TMZ No BS, with never-before-seen stories about some of the biggest celebrities in pop culture, starting with Britney Spears.
I found him, Samaritan.
Prime Video adds Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone about a kid who suspects his neighbor is a superpowered vigilante and tries to get him out of hiding to save the city.
Every parent's dream is to spend a week without their family.
On Netflix, Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg lead Me Time, about a stay-at-home dad who reconnects with an old friend for a wild weekend.
Way to make the most of your me time.
In New York, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Some good stuff right there. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave it tonight. Pretty cool here with video of dinosaur footprints in Glen Rose, Texas, revealed by this drought so many of us have been getting. Look at that. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.